Hey, Jocodero here. Before you continue watching, make sure that you're pressing Premiere right here. Make sure you press that button so that you're watching at the same time as everyone else, okay? Make sure you press Premiere. It should be right here. That red light. Hey everybody, before I play today's chapel, I just wanted to take a moment to say how grateful I am for each of you and your willingness to participate. You know, it takes courage to press enter after a message, so I appreciate every time you do that. Over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be celebrating Black History Month. In these chapels, we're going to have different students share their stories about themselves and of their families. I'm incredibly proud of everyone sending in videos over the next few weeks because this is a really brave thing to do. So I'd like to invite you to lean into the experience of listening and affirming one another in the chat. You know, we do these types of chapels during these heritage months because representation matters, and we value the experiences of different cultures and backgrounds. So let's enter into this sacred space. This is Black History Month.
Hello Junior High, I am Sumho Rabada and I would like to welcome you all to chapel.
Just as sure as the sun sets at the end of the day, then the darkness fades. a God I never knew, God I never knew. Just as sure as the sun from your hand can turn gray skies to shades of blue. I know you love me, I know you love me, just as I do love you. Oh, just as I do love you. I love you and I trust you 'cause you know what's best for me. Even though the crowd sometimes gets loud and it's hard to hear you speak, just as sure as your grace is faithful even when my faith I lose. I know you love me. Oh, just as I do love you. I love you and I trust you 'cause you know what's best for me. Even though the crowd sometimes gets loud and it's hard to hear you speak, oh, just as sure as your grace is faithful even when my faith I lose. I know you love me, yeah, just as I do love you. Oh, just as I do love you. Jesus, I love you.
Hey guys, it's Mr. Dudley here. I just wanted to talk to you guys here at the beginning of Black History Month about what it means for African American families to try to trace their roots and try to find out what their family tree is like. Now, I'm gonna do that by talking about the family tree on my mom's side. And on my mom's side, that's the Harris family tree, okay? Now, that family tree doesn't start until 1865 at the end of the Civil War. And that's gonna start with Mary Edmonds and Ernest Harris. And they were from an area of Texas that you would now say would be called Beaumont, Texas. Now, they had 9 children. That's a lot of kids. And surprisingly, all 9 kids survived until adulthood. There was Ernest, who's the oldest. There was also Chesley, Otis, Willie, Leroy, Lucille, Ethel, Mayella, and Jordan. Now, Mayella was particularly long-lived. She lived to be 98 years old. She died within my lifetime. I got to meet her at the Harris family reunion in 1995 when I was really young. Now, if you go back to Ernest, Ernest was the oldest, and Ernest is my great-great-grandfather. He had a daughter named Ernestine. Ernestine married a man named Freeman Purdue. And they had my grandmother, who was Charlotte Purdue, who married a man named Jesse Durow. Jesse Durow and Charlotte Durow, they had my mom, who's Christine, and my 2 aunts, Ernestine, another Ernestine, and Patricia Durow. And Christine married Don Dudley, and that's where I came in. And then I married Kimmy Snyder, and then we had 2 other children, Miles and Lucy Dudley. Now, here's the crazy thing, you guys. That's only 6 generations back to slavery. That is not long at all. Most of the people that I talk to, they can trace their families hundreds and hundreds of years back across multiple countries. But for African Americans, almost all of us, our family trees begin at slavery. That's one of the reasons why it's so interesting and unique to be able to trace your family tree as an African American. It only goes back so far. But even with that, it's still such a cool experience to be able to know all that about our family tree.
Hi, my name is Olivia, and I'm going to be replaying my roots. So, on a small island called Haiti, there was my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, and there are 10 children. 1 out of the 10 children died, and the rest, still alive, lived there in Haiti. When my grandmother and my aunts and my uncles, when they grew up, there started to be civil unrest in Haiti with a lot of riots and shootings and places burning down. So they decided that after my mom and my aunt were born, that they would go to America slowly. So basically what they did was my mom and my aunt and my uncle, they went to go live in America because back then they didn't have school for at least 3 to 4 months because of the riots and stuff like that. So they decided that they should take them to America to live with my other aunt and my great-grandmother. Well, sometime after that, my great-grandfather, he died of an unknown cause, and then the rest of my family moved from Haiti to America through New York. So they moved to New York, and then after they spent some time in New York, they decided to go to Boston, Massachusetts, where my great-grandmother still lives, my aunt still lives, and basically all my family still live there, but some still remained in Haiti. So after some time, my mom and my aunt, they graduated, and they decided to, you know, just fly out to America. Well, fly out to California. And yeah, here I am 12 years later after they flew out to California. Thank you for listening.
I am brown like the dust, yet my value is greater than diamonds and gold. My worth does not come from what others think of me. No. It comes from who I am. I am strong. I am mighty. I am courageous. I am bold. You look at me, but you only see the color of my skin. You look at the shape of my body or the texture of my hair and you feel like you know me. But do you really know me? Do you know who I am? I am one whom the Creator looked upon and said, she's beautiful. I am one whom the Creator looked upon and said, he matters. I am one whom the Creator looked upon and said, you are in my image. I am a child of the Most High God. I am born with purpose because I am His child. He has given me wisdom, strength, and honor. I am His original masterpiece. I am royalty.
Black culture is triumph. The ability to succeed through adversity and to remain with a soft heart, which should have been hardened.
Black culture to me is all about togetherness, because I find there's so many different types of black people from all over the world, but it always seems like when we get together, it's so joyful. There's just something about that. And what I find really interesting is that back in the day, the whole goal was to tear apart our culture, was to erase it. But still, we find this joy in just being together, and I feel like that's what forms our culture as a whole. All that being said, Black culture to me is about the sense of belonging and just being with your community.
Black culture means a lot of different things to me. One thing that stood out to me is community. We all share a special bond because of the color of our skins. Even though I do not know what we go through individually, I do know what we go through as a whole. I feel like Black culture makes me who I am today, and I cannot imagine myself any other way. So that's what Black culture means to me.
Hey guys, it's me again. I'm here to talk to you guys again about tracing your roots. But this time it's not the roots of a family tree. This time it's a different roots. This is about the Roots television miniseries that aired in 1977. You guys, this show was a huge deal. It completely took over American television for its entire run. The series was about a young African named Kunta Kinte. It follows him from his journey living in a peaceful village in Africa to being kidnapped and sold into slavery. And then once he gets to the United States, he enters the slave market. His name is changed to Toby, and it follows his ancestors from him all the way up through the Civil War and into Reconstruction. Now, when I tell you guys that this show was a big deal, believe me, it was. It was watched in over 130 million homes. There is nothing that comes on TV right now that even comes close to getting that many viewers. It was nominated for 37 Emmys, and it ended up winning 9. More importantly, it opened the door for people to consume media starring and produced by African Americans, which up to that point just wasn't done. Now, we're talking about a whole generation of filmmakers and actors and actresses that were raised on the idea that they could do something like this based on roots. Spike Lee, F. Gary Gray, John Singleton, Jordan Peele, Shonda Rhimes, actors like Denzel Washington, Jamie Foxx, Morgan Freeman, Whoopi Goldberg, and Viola Davis. None of these things would be possible without the show Roots completely opening the eyes of the masses of American TV watchers to what was possible by African Americans in that time.
All right, so today for our worship thought, we have Pastor Barone Savory will be sharing with us, and he is the pastor at Valley Fellowship Church. He's actually the co-host with me for the Livecast podcast that Campus Ministries High School puts out on the Instagram and YouTube. So if we can just show some love in the chat for Pastor Barone Savory.
Hi, I'm Pastor Barone Savory, and I'm excited to bring you this Black History Spotlight about one of the amazing Black Americans that is alive and living today. But before I introduce who she is, a little bit of history about how we came to this moment of Black History Month in February. Black History Month is the annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing their central role in U.S. history. Also known as African American History Month, the event grew out of Negro History Week, the brainchild of noted historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans. The story of Black History Month begins in 1915, half a century after the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States. That September, the Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson and the prominent minister Jesse E. Moreland founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, an organization dedicated to researching and promoting achievements by Black Americans and other peoples of African descent. The group sponsored a National Negro History Week in 1926, choosing the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. The event inspired schools and communities nationwide to organize local celebrations, establish history clubs, and host performances and lectures. By the late 1960s, thanks in part to the Civil Rights Movement and the growing awareness of Black identity, Negro History Week had evolved into Black History Month on many college campuses. And in 1976, Black History Month was officially recognized by President Gerald Ford, who called upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. And since 1976, every American president has designated February as Black History Month and endorsed a specific theme. And this year, 2021, the theme is Black Family, Representation, and Diversity. Now that you know a little bit more about the history of Black History Month and how it all began, I'm excited to share a historical figure in the Black community, and that is none other than Vice President Kamala Harris. And she's made history in two ways. One, that she is a woman of color, and secondly, because she is a woman that has risen to the highest seat of power in the U.S. government for any woman ever to have lived. What an accomplishment. Kamala Harris was born right here in the state of California, in the city of Oakland, California. And she spent her first few years here before she moved to Montreal. After graduating from high school, Kamala Harris decided to attend an HBCU. HBCU stands for Historically Black College or University. And I happen to be a graduate of an HBCU myself, Oakwood University. Kamala Harris attended Howard University in the city of Washington, D.C. It is there that she desired to study and become an attorney. Soon after that, she continued to rise up the ranks in the state of California, eventually becoming the Attorney General for the state of California. After that, she had her sights set on something even higher than that. And she ran and was elected to be a state senator for the state of California. And as she continued to serve as a senator there for the state of California, she had tremendous success and continued to impress many on Capitol Hill. It wasn't long before she began to ponder the idea of running for president herself. And that is exactly what she did. Though ultimately her campaign was unsuccessful, she caught the eye of the soon-to-be President of the United States, Joseph Biden, who selected her, a woman of color, to be his running mate. This year, January 20th, 2021, Kamala Harris and Joseph Biden were sworn in as Vice President and President of the United States.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
The duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
It was a historic moment for women and a historic moment for people of color all throughout the United States and the world.
Lift every voice and sing till earth heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies resound the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. March on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, the chastening rod felt in the days when hope unborn has died, yet with a steady beat have not our our path through the blood of the slaughter, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, like gleaming star is cast. Places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk of the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand. True to our God, true to to our native land, true to our native land.
Thank you, Pastor Barone, and to all the participants for today's episode of Chapel Online and our first week of Black History Month. I'm excited for the next 3 weeks, and I hope you are too. But we'll catch you in the next one. Peace, love, and blessings. Have a great one.
Thank you for tuning into this week's chapel, and thank you so much to our contributors.